The Herc is Berked at the edge of the southern forest, where Ragnar, Lord Malvoisin, and Amrit have met up to go in search of everyone's favorite uncle, Geosius. They stand, halfway into the forest, doing whatever it is that they are doing. The tall Indian fellow is, not really talking. He's just, with his unblinking eyes, turning his head left to right and back again, slowly scanning the horizon for signs of their quarry.
Yes.
Ragnar would, as he's going through the forest, occasionally tap a tree with his staff, click, click.
All right. Make perception alertness, I guess.
Everyone?
Yeah.
5 dice.
I do. All right, 2 successes. Stiff 6. Okay. You hear a very deliberate twig breaking sound, like someone just stomped a big stick really hard, and off to the left-hand side of the path, there's a large fur-wearing man with a dented sword and glowing red eyes.
Ragnar will step ahead of everyone, and he will say, "Brother, I bring family and one who would have words with you."
He takes a few steps forward, and he walks right up to the Indian guy and gives him a couple of sniffs. Just shakes his head, and then he starts walking towards Eric, and then he actually cocks his head back towards the Indian guy, walks back and leans in closer and sniffs him, and then narrows his eyes at him, and they both just stare at each other for a couple of seconds before he shakes his head again and walks over to the Malvoisin. "And which one is family?"
I point to the Indian man, cousin from far away.
"Yes. He smells of my sire, but weaker. And this one would have words with me."
I'll take a bow, if I may.
He stares at you and clicks his jaw a couple of times, just continues to stare at you.
My name is Redis de Malvoisin. I am currently the domain holder of the south part of the city of Setsunobi. My belief is, and I know that you are the lord of this woods, and I would just like to say hello to you, and I hope we can have a nice conversation about how we should treat our two domains up against each other.
The small southern city, it offends me less than the others, for it is small and on the outskirts of my territory. Stick to your cities and your roads, and keep your time in my domain short. Unless you're hunting.
That is quite okay. Could I ask if there is any part of the land that the mortals may use as farmlands, or even to cut a small part of the forest down and to bring it up later?
You would destroy part of my territory. These trees are mine. This earth is mine. These animals are mine. The roads that you have dug through the forest offend me, and they are now mine.
I'm simply talking about what the mortals would do. So I wouldn't step on any of your toes for something that a mortal would do.
The mortals are food. Prey that know not how to flee or hide or be prey. Prey that simply roll over and die.
Okay.
He points off towards the east.
The mortals have used those plains, farmland, for nearly as long as I have been here. And they can continue to do so, for that is not my domain, but the domain of Grak.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like us to do to keep the fine balance of our relationship? Otherwise,
Leave my woods unmolested, and we will have no quarrel.
it will be I will try my best, but as you know, mortals are so hard to handle sometimes.
Do you have any coat of arms or seals or anything on your clothes?
No. You know, there should be like some general gypsy stuff or stuff like that. Maybe, you know, hanging around his neck, but no, he would not have any type of coat of arms.
Okay. The gypsy thing will do. It's like a necklace or something?
Yeah, maybe like that.
Okay, so he'll reach forward with his hand, and he'll just, like, grab the necklace, and with a quick yank, rip it off your body, and he'll hold it up to you.
This is your mark. Any who bear your mark and do not molest my forests may have safe passage. Those who do not bear this mark are food.
And then he tucks the necklace into, like, a pouch on his belt and pats it twice.
He nods to himself. Good. I hope we come to an understanding. And if you ever would need my help, Lord Geosius, or should I call you Lord Geosius?
Geosius will suffice.
If you would ever need my help, Geosius, I am in the city of Setsinobi. If you want to talk with me, I should be there. If otherwise, send some kind of word, and I will come to this wood and meet you.
I will find you if I need you.
He nods and takes a few steps back, allowing the others to take presence as well.
He looks at you also as you step back.
Should you need audience with me, send a messenger.
And he, like, reaches out towards a bush, and he plucks a white rose off the bush.
In garments of this color, bearing your mark with a message, and I will respond.
He nods once more.
And he tosses you the rose with the ripped off tip of the rose.
And he will, catch it, holding it to his chest.
His head, like, rotates back towards Ragnar.
I come bearing ill news.
He blinks.
It is good because I am a step closer towards my quarry that the mother has sent me to hunt.
Like a very almost imperceptible turn up of the corners of his mouth happens.
The bad is that he's already entrenched here, and he started gathering the people again and turning them into his deranged minions. The vision I had showed the river on fire, green fire like his people, and it burned all the way down the river. And while it also cleansed the lands, it did great, great damage to your forest.
If these invaders come, these invaders shall fall.
I intend to, at the very least, slow their progress and hamper them in the north. I'm going to go take the Tremir's castle. The prince gave me leave to have it if I provided him with certain things.
I do not recognize this name, Tremere.
Blood magicians that usurp the blood from the Tzimisce.
I have seen Tzimisce of late. Must not have done as well as they presumed.
Yes, well, they did do one goal. Apparently, they have wiped out the Salubri fairly wholesale.
Salat.
No one has seen or heard from their progenitor in a long time.
Troubling. The balance has been interrupted.
Yes, I believe they are one of the key reasons why this demon-worshipping Assamite is able to do so much, because the Salubri are gone, and their diligence and faith in destroying that which was evil is not there. So now we have to do what our brothers would do. Unfortunately, they were the best at it, and they were the ones who took care of it. And we have all been lax, and evil has been allowed to take deep root.
These mortal men who wear suits of shining material dug from the earth. They claim to fight evil, and yet they bring it with them.
He reaches into, like, behind him, into his furs,
Yeah.
and he pulls out like the top half of a skull, like from the nose bone upwards, basically, with like a crucifix scratched into the forehead.
They come through my forests, burning and cutting, and leaving nothing but waste in their wake. How then shall I determine friend from foe if they do not bear the mark?
And he, like, jingles a little gypsy symbol.
You are potent, Geosius. Those men, I'm guessing you carved the cross into his forehead. He was wearing that on his clothing. He probably came or was with from the church to the north. I don't know that those men will ever stop coming. They are not of the evil thing in the north. They are of the fanatical Christian God.
Yes, the tortured man.
He drops like a crucifix on the ground.
I think by destroying them, unfortunately, you will only pique their interest, and they will send more and more men to do more and more harm to your forest and attempt to destroy you.
Their magician
He points at the crucifix laying in the dirt.
held this at me as some sort of talisman and spoke in an unknown language. But his god did not come.
I don't think there are very many who can invoke the Christian God. They are not as faithful. They are not that faithful. But there are some that can. And those with his power are mighty. Their flesh is weak, but I have seen before where kindred could not get close enough to his presence to destroy him, because his faith was so strong with his cross.
Uriah.
Oh, then it's my turn to blink, like, oh shit. Yes, I do remember Uriah in the council. He had that faith. And your destruction of these men will warrant more investigation until eventually they send people like that to you, Geosius. I do not doubt your prowess, but there are maybe many of them. And while they may not defeat you with one man, they will attempt to wear you down with many.
He reaches into that strap that's holding his scabbard onto his chest and removes like a small piece of bone with etchings in it. And he like holds it out to you.
Present this to Uriah. Tell him I wish for him to reel in his Christians. The time has come for him to repay me.
Ragnar will nod, and he will take the item.
And then Amrit will take a step forward, and Geosius will like adopt a little bit of a guarded stance, and then like sniff the air a couple of times and relax a little bit. And Amrit he leans in and puts a hand on Geosius' shoulder and puts his mouth really close to his ear and starts whispering something. And Geosius just looks straight ahead of him the whole time. And he like nods. He nods again. And then from out of the folds of Amrit's robes, he produces this clear, shiny glass bubble, basically. And he holds it in his hand, and the center, like a flame, a tiny little flame, like the size of a lighter flame, will appear inside the glass ball. He'll hand it to Geosius, and as Geosius like takes it and raises it up towards his face, the flame in the bubble like grows in intensity and flickers, and you can see like the light bouncing off his eyes, and his eyes actually stop glowing at this point as he just like wide-eyed stares into this bubble. And then he just nods and like holds it in one hand, and every once in a while keeps looking back at it, and then back at Amrit.
Your people who bear your mark may also travel these woods, provided they stay to the paths and leave nothing behind.
And they say Amrit says something in like a language that you don't understand, and Geosius nods. If you have anything to detect, I mean, like, it's not hard to detect. I guess I'll just give it to you. Like, there's some kind of, he handed him some sort of, like, minor magical item.
Yeah. That's cool. I assume that's what it was.
Your brother or cousin.
And he points over to Amrit.
I have not seen a force of elemental fire since the beginning. I do not know what his arrival foretells, but certainly something great. Great and terrible. Flame, elemental flame, has but one driving prerogative. Flame is the cleanser. As you say, it comes to cleanse my lands.
Ragnar will nod and say, I've seen it in the runes and the stars. The greatness of what my cousin brings resonates strongly. He gave me tidings that helped me on my hunt, but I know that his presence here will stoke the flames of this war.
He holds the little glass bauble up towards the sky when you say something about the stars, and he basically lines it up with the red star above the moon. And as he does it, like the whole interior of the bubble flares up in crimson red flame. And him and Amrit both like frown.
Truly, these are the end times.
Ragnar will also frown, and he'll look down at the ground for 2 stones.
Yeah, there's like plenty of rocks and shit all over the place.
Okay, he'll shear off the stones so that both sides are flat. And roughly like hand-sized.
Mhm.
And then he will carve a rune into each side. And can you roll me 11 dice?
Mhm.
It's diff 5 and my specialty applies.
Okay. Too bad with the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
This is way more than enough. I inscribe a blood point onto these rune stones, and then also present one to Geosius. And this stone, if you put it into your hand and focus your will, we can be connected to speak for a short amount of time. In case there is something dire you would need to relate to me.
So many powerful items changing hands. I feel that I have gone to the goblin markets.
Ragnar will shrug. My brother, my cousin, and I are similarly gifted in as different a fashion as you can be.
He is not our blood, but he is hers. And that is all that is required.
And we have the same goal. We come from the same mother, but have different blood. And we are both men who speak with the authority of our gods. I do not present this to you for any favor. I present this to you because I know that your forest will be targeted, and I would see you continue to hunt, and I know that when I find my target, I will gather a pack to destroy him, and I would have you in my pack when time for the great hunt comes.
The great hunt. I cannot refuse. there is a circle.
He points over to the west.
Many nights' journey
I'm sorry, the east.
in that direction. Find there the Green Man. Present him your case and petition him for his assistance. If the Green Man finds your cause worthy, you will have me till the end.
Ragnar will only bow to Geosius and nod.
He looks at all three of you, his head's on the swivel.
Ragnar will not feel the need for departing words with them, as he feels like everything that needs to be said has been said, and he will turn and start moving out of the forest.
Amrit will give him a head nod and follow you.
And Duelis would do the same. Not just a head nod, but more of a slight bow. And just follow.
Make a perception alertness at difficulty 7, everybody.
Okay, 5 dice though.
Alright, you're good, you got 2. Eric, you got 1, you're good too. Let's check for this dude. He's also good. You see Geosius he twists the fingers on his right hand in a strange way and holds them up towards you and waves them in a very erratic but seemingly precise and measured manner before his hands fall to his sides, and he steps back into the tree line, and you just see a pair of glowing eyes watching you.
Sweet.
Cool.
And that'll end the scene.